Hello everybody, how are you? The sun is rising in the east above Southern California as we head south out of downtown, and it gives us an opportunity to talk about another aspect of Jacksonville, Florida, the subject of our videos this week. Most of our videos, not all. And this one is going to be the 5 worst car dealers in Jacksonville. Now, why the 5 worst? Well, there's lots of great car dealers in Jacksonville. You can get a good deal, get a good car. But sometimes you come across these bad actors that waste your time and waste your money, even more importantly. So let's go through it. The number one of the worst car dealers in Jacksonville is Interpretation Motors. Now, Interpretation Motors are over there in Atlantic Beach. You just go down the main road there, turn left as you just get north of the main part of downtown, and you'll see them right there on the left. So, listen, they're nice guys. They're helpful. They'll take you on the test drive. They'll get you some coffee, maybe even a sandwich if you ask them, because they got that sandwich shop next door that everybody goes to. But once the deal starts to come down, they'll change the details of the deal. Details of the detail? Well, that's what they might. They might change the details of the detail. They'll change the deal details, okay, that you've already settled on. And if you call them out on it, the salesperson or the sales manager will say, well, what do you mean? That's kind of open to interpretation. And you look at them like, what are you talking about, open to interpretation? We already covered this and we wrote it down. We wrote it down on the deal sheet. And they're like, well, it's open to interpretation. It just depends on your point of view. You're like, point of view? It's there on the paper. It's on the black and white on the paper. Why are we going back over it? Right? And so after a while, you realize, wait a minute. I'm getting the round and round. They're giving me the old round and round. And for me, I had to walk out of there, guys. So, I mean, listen, if you're super patient and know how to work those kind of vague deals, well, good luck to you. I've got things to do, like make dumb videos. All right, let's go through it. That's number one. Now, number two is post-mortem motors, right over there in Pacific Beach. And the thing about post-mortem is they won't let you take delivery of the car until they do a post-mortem on the sale. And a post-mortem is basically where you go through the transaction and you determine if it was good or bad or what you could have done better. And so the problem is that they'll involve you in this process. They'll say, hey, before we give you the keys, do you mind coming into the conference room? And they'll break down the sale, and they'll have the whole staff there. And they'll ask you to comment on what you thought of or what were you thinking at this point of the sale, at that point of the sale. In a sense, you've now become part of the sales training for the entire operation. And I mean, hey, I love salespeople. I've done sales training. I've taken sales training. You know, I get the point, but at this point, I'm the customer. And unless you're knocking a discount off to compensate me for my time, or you're actually compensating me for my time, I don't have time to do a post-mortem. So for me, I had to walk from those guys. It's not for me. Now, number three is sudden car sales. Sudden car sales, right over there in downtown Jacksonville. Now, sudden car sales have an interesting approach because they have these, what they on the internet they might term as a flash sale. So, sudden car sales will suddenly get on the web, get on their social media, and they'll say, hey, hashtag sudden car sale. For the next hour, all cars are $300 off or $500 off. Or for the next 30 minutes, all foreign cars are $1,000 off, whatever it is. And you gotta hurry down there to Sudden Car Sales. I mean, they have some really good deals. Depends on a used car, new car, what kind of car. They've got all these Sudden Car Sales. And they get on the social media. It's a really an interesting approach because it gets people tuned into your social media and it gets traffic into your store. But I'll be honest with you. And I know it's car sales. I know they've got to promote. I know they've got to get their name out there. They've got to come up with a hook. And that's a pretty good one. But for me personally, I know the car I want, right? There's really very few vehicles that are going to be appealing to, that will appeal to me outside of exactly what I want. And I'll pay attention. I'll watch. I mean, we all want a good deal, and sometimes they have crazy deals. You know, like $5,000 off, right? Something ridiculous. But I always then question that car, and I should also explain. Generally, I buy used cars, so when the discount is super high on a used car, you got to say, all right, what's it missing? A bad rear axle? What's the rear axle made of? Rubber bands and jelly, right? So also, it doesn't give you much time to check out the car. So you say, listen, I'm interested in your sudden sale here, your flash sale. Very cool. I like the car. I'd like to have my mechanic look at it. And the sales manager will look you straight in the eye, and they'll say, listen, dude, this is Sudden Car Sales. You've got 30 seconds to make up your mind. And I'm like, oh, man. This is just the old high-pressure techniques wrapped in new era social media. So, guys, for me, it's a no. It's a no. Now, number 4 on... It's a no. Number 4 on our list is balloon car sales right there on the south side of town. Balloon car sales have a giant Hindenburg replica floating above their car dealer, and it looks as if the Hindenburg is holding the car dealer up. See what I mean? They've got it floating with these guy wires, and that is to hold the hot air Hindenburg above. You know, it floats above constantly, but the wires make it look like it's holding up the dealership, like it's floating. You know what I mean? Like it's carrying the dealership. So it's pretty cool. But the problem with it is that they used a replica of the Hindenburg. Now, could you come up with any other dirigible? I mean, just a basic blimp would have worked. But no, the one guy, the one owner, he was a huge fan of the Hindenburg disaster. He just liked the whole history of it. He liked, that it was such an impactful event in American history, and decided to make that the centerpiece of his dealership. Well, I mean, I don't know if that's really the marketing message that you want to project when people are buying the second biggest purchase of their life after their home. A car is the second biggest purchase. For me, the first biggest purchase of my life were custom-made golf clubs, and the second biggest purchase was a 48 pack of Titleist Pro V1s that I bought because they had just come out. The brand new, the Pro V1X had just come out, and I couldn't help myself. I think here in LA they were $10 a ball, and I bought a super pack of 48. So I spent almost $500 on golf balls. So that was the second biggest purchase of my life. First one being my golf clubs. So the point of the story is that if that's going to be your hook, then I don't think that's going to be very appealing for most people. So I'm going to say stay away. And the final of our 5 worst car dealerships in Jacksonville, it's Tendon Motors. Tendon, Tendon, like the tendon of your foot. Now look, tendons are important in Tendon Motors. I don't know if that's a family name or what, but they have worked their name into their sales process. And so to sell you a car, they insist on doing a full physical, including checking all your muscles, your tendons, your physical condition, your breathing, your heart rate. And they won't sell you a car unless you pass a 100-point inspection. And the reason being, they figure, hey, if you are not in good shape, then you may bring the car back and just say it was too hard to get in and out of the vehicle. No matter, especially if it's one of those big trucks. You know, you got these big dudes buying these big trucks. Well, some of these big dudes, their heart is barely able to keep them standing up, much less climb up in those big trucks. So you can see where they're going. That's what Tandem Motors does. They give you a full physical before you take receipt of the car or truck. Well, listen, I just get a physical every year. Hey, if it's worth the deal, I mean, I would even submit that. I would even give you my physical printout for my doctor to get a good deal. I would. But they insist, no, we have to do it. We don't trust anybody's doctor. Everybody's getting these fake medical reports coming in here and trying to get our good deals and then not go through our medical procedures, our medical steps, our requirements. So, man, I was like, forget it, guys. My doctor's one of the best, and if you can't accept that report, then I'm going to have to pass. So those are all car dealers that I walked out at one point or another, or stopped the sales process, or whatever it was. And hey, give it a try if you want, but don't say you didn't hear it from me. Stay away. All right, guys, those are the 5 worst car dealerships in Jacksonville, Florida. And as usual, I made it all up off the top of my head. If you know of anything that we should, any dealers that would be interesting, leave a comment. Get us on the Tweeter machine, on the YouTuber. Because when you share your knowledge, the whole community grows together. Talk to you.